on just one second. I promise I'll give you. Dr. C.A. Tripp is with us. Okay, let's try and as succinctly as you can, and I know this is complicated. Did you say that a best friend often makes a lousy lover?
Oh yes, because there's a certain competition between living room compatibility and bedroom voltage. You must either compromise them or choose between them. You can't have them both.
Why?
It's very interesting that that seems to be true throughout nature. You can try to have them both. You can have them both if you know how to handle it ahead of time. But if you, in a high romance, the closer the people get, the greater the pleasure and the lower the voltage goes in the bedroom, unless they know how to handle that.
The closer they get, the greater the pressure, the pleasure or pressure?
Pleasure at first. Think of a Romeo and Juliet situation. It's delightful for the partners to meet. It's delightful for them to get to know each other. All is fine. But as they get to know each other better and better and better, it begins to threaten the bedroom voltage, so to speak.
So in other words, if Romeo and Juliet's parents said it was okay, they would not have been as passionate?
That's correct. If the balcony hadn't been as high, they wouldn't be as passionate.
So if your daughter comes home with a guy that doesn't wash his hair, the best way to get rid of him is to tell her that you like him.
Exactly, and if you tell her that you don't like him, you will make her his favorite, or him our favorite immediately.
You know, zoologists have long been baffled at the apparent failure of primates to mate in captivity. And then they discovered that the best way to encourage it is to temporarily place a barrier between them.
Yes, put them in separate cages where they can see each other but can't reach each other. Suddenly raise the barrier, and then you are able to mate animals in captivity.
Yes.
I wanted to ask the doctor if he feels that the women's movement has further complicated sexual frustration or helped it.
I don't know. In some ways it seems that it would have helped it. In others it invites a kind of closeness that is a competition to sexual voltage. It can be figured either way.
Yes, I've been married 41 years, and I think my husband, I don't have any sex problems, but you make me feel like maybe I should look for some.
I never recommend that you look for any. There are plenty in the world already.
My husband knows everything I do, and my best friend's sitting right next to me, and she can tell you everything, and her and my husband know everything. She's my best friend, and my husband is also.
And everything's fine with you?
Sure. We're having a good time.
I don't question the...
Every day and every night when he's not working.
Really? Maybe you ought to write a book.
I'm not so sure.
I am.
Let me get that straight now. I heard about her husband. Who's the best friend? Is that a friend of the family?
Right here. Do you want to help us out here?
Yeah.
Yes, we're calling to the stand another witness here.
Is this a, what is this, a threesome?
No. No, her point is that their relationship is close enough that they are able to share personal information that you wouldn't normally do with a semi-friend.
Yes, well, I never said that there was anything against information. But you can see it immediately. If you, probably most people in this audience have had romances in their lives. You know the kind of electrical spark feeling there is as the electricity, so to speak, jumps the gap.
Yeah.
Well, how can you expect that spark if there's no gap? If you live in each other's shoes, if you are close every day, if you share everything, there's no motivation for exploration.
No, if you're married to someone and they are your best friend, your marriage has got a better chance.
That's a very popular idea. Just in the last week, Phil Donahue had on a couple of guests here. Charming couple, John Denver and his wife. Who was the other one?
I don't know. There's been so many couples.
The
Celebrity?
The wife, who's 82 years old.
Oh, that's Garson Kanin and
Yes.
Ruth Gordon, yes.
And both of them gave, very charming, nice people, both of them gave great salutes to the togetherness of their marriage and how they managed to keep up the voltage and were very close and so on. But if you listen carefully, you heard what the resistance was. In John Denver's case, his wife very frankly said, well, I do worry about him being approached constantly by other women and having beautiful smiles all the time. There is something to be concerned about. What he said bothered me because he said, well, the thing that's really important is to make the commitment. Well, making a commitment's a little bit dangerous because that's like asking for a feeling state or demanding a feeling state. It's so much better if it comes naturally. Imagine what would have happened if Romeo had said to Juliet, love me. That's hardly romantic.
Well, I think he's saying like a typical male thing, you know. Don't be friends, let's just, you know, go to bed and have a nice time there.
No, I don't, let's not accuse him of whatever disagreement there may be. He's not in favor of promiscuity. You are saying that a little anxiety is good for the sexual relationship.
Sure, a little anxiety is good for it and a little temptation is good for it. Whether you give in to temptation is another issue, but the threat to it is important. You see, if it were true, your starting idea, when I say your, I mean the audiences, if it were true that all you have to do is take ready mates or matched mates and put them together, zoos wouldn't have any trouble breeding their animals. They'd just take a male and female and put them together. That's not the way it works.
So you understand, of course, that you're flying in the face of the whole traditional notion of marriage where we as man and wife walk into a place and say, I just know she would never leave me. I mean, that's the ideal.
Absolutely true.
And you're saying that's bad.
Oh, yes, that's very dangerous. We are constantly given wrong advice and very bad advice. Furthermore, you're liable to think that what I'm saying is a downer. It is not. If you understand the situation, it's good news. It's like driving a car down the road and a friend of yours says, watch out, there's a bump around the next corner. Is that bad news because the road isn't smooth? No,
it's going to keep you more awake at the wheel.
Not only that, but you can deal with it then.